Hey, what's up? How's it going? My name is Gabby, and today I'm going to be starting a reading vlog for the Mindfuck series. This is a decision I made that was heavily influenced by two of my friends. You might know Katie and Mike.
Gabby she was considering reading this, and I was on her TBR, and I'm like, Gabby, you have to read this, and you have to do a reading vlog for it. Please, like, please! It's so much fun.
And let me just be fully transparent with you guys. So I was under the impression that I was gonna be hate reading this series, and I'm kind of obsessed.
I'll have both of their channels linked down below, but they recently, both did reading vlogs for this book series. Apparently this book series is also very popular on BookTok. This is a thriller series from what I understand. I'm just getting major FOMO, with this right now because I just have this fear of missing out on something that I might really enjoy. And if you're wondering, like, whoa, what the heck is this? So this is a collection of the 5 books that are in the Mindfuck series. Apparently, each one of these books is only about 100 pages. They do have a little, like, table of contents right in the beginning to let you know the first book and then second book and, like, where it's at. But each book looks like it's just about a little over 100 pages, which is totally doable for me. I'm not a big series reader, but the idea of reading this all within like a couple of days does sound appealing to me. This entire collection is almost about 700 pages, so like, pray for me. I'm hoping I enjoy this because I'm gonna be really sad if I'm like 300 pages into this and I'm not enjoying it. And usually, typically when I do film these reading vlogs like this, I usually do film the intro last. I film the intro at the very end once I know I've completed it, because I always feel like if I film the intro first and then I don't follow through with the video, it's just like a total waste of time, or I feel like really shitty about myself. But no, this time I have absolutely no idea what I'm getting myself into right now. I don't know anything about this book really, except for that it follows a female serial killer. And like, honestly, that's all I really need to know. On the back here, there's this very long premise that is centered on the back of the book, and it says monsters can come in many forms. Seems like it's gonna have a little bit of a romance vibe as well. I mean, I'm getting very erotic Twilight from this book cover, but I just don't think that that's gonna be the vibe. At least I'm not too sure. Like, from everyone that I've talked to about this book, they're all saying that the covers are completely misleading and that it feels more thriller and not as much like erotic romance. But at this point, I just don't really know what I'm getting myself into. I think for this reading vlog, I'm going to try to keep it as spoiler-free as I can throughout this whole reading vlog, but I will put a spoiler warning on the screen whenever I'm going to be jumping into some spoilers if there are some moments that I just can't help myself and I need to talk about what's going on, so that might happen throughout this vlog. But if you haven't read this yet, you can still watch this vlog because I will warn you before spoilers. And yeah, I'm just excited. Like, I haven't even cracked the page. I just got this in the mail like 20 minutes ago. Like, today I was literally sitting waiting for this UPS driver to drop off this book because I was just so excited to get started on it, and it finally got delivered a few minutes ago, so I just ran out there in the rain and got it from my mailbox. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to give this a go. I'm hoping that I love it as much as everyone else does. I do know that at least with most of my friends, they've said that the first 2 books are like, fine, but then it really picks up in the 3rd book. I'm gonna keep my expectations low going into this first book, and I'm hoping that by keeping my expectations lower, it only makes me enjoy it more. So it's about 9 o'clock at night. I just grabbed a cider because I'm like, what the heck, it's only 9 o'clock and I plan to stay up for a little bit longer tonight and read. This book, so far, I am 70 pages into this. I read a little bit of it this afternoon, and so far my thoughts are that I feel like my friends are correct in the fact that this is like not the best writing. It's not my favorite writing. It kind of reads like a Wattpad story so far. There's a lot of, repetition with Lana's character and how she's like, I'm such a monster now, and like, she's obviously been through something very traumatic, but it's kind of repetitive in the sense that we get a lot of almost like flashbacks or like thoughts about what happened to her, but we don't actually know what happened to her. And I actually remember from Katie's vlog that she said we don't even find out what actually happened to her until like book 3 or something like that. So like, I'm not gonna hold my breath. Her, thoughts are a little bit repetitive, in her thinking like, I don't deserve this, like I'm such a monster, and like only good girls get happy endings and things like that. If you didn't know, the general premise is that, we're following this woman named Lana who's 26, and she experienced something very you know, very traumatic when she was 16 years old. It's been 10 years, and now she's going after the men who are responsible for what happened to her 10 years ago. We also do get the point of view of the FBI agent who is assigned to the case of, like, you know, all of these men that are, you know, getting killed. He's literally the one that's assigned to her case, and she's starting to get into a relationship with him. Okay, this is like a romance. There are romantic, flirty things happening between them. And, you know, of course, it is the FBI agent that is on her case. It just so happens to be, you know, because of course it is. And, I mean, the romance, it's feeling a little insta-love. I'm not obsessed with the romance, but I also, like, I don't hate it. So, like, it's not my favorite at the moment, but, like, I can definitely tell that this has potential to be great. I do think the story of, like, what's actually happening, like, why she's going after these men and how she's, like, killing them, it's interesting, okay? It's very intriguing. I will say too that this is a bit more of a romance than I was expecting. Like, at this moment in time, I would consider this a romantic thriller, and I do think it leans a little heavy on the romance side, because a lot of this story is about, you know, her getting with this FBI agent and their relationship, and then it's also kind of also about their jobs, you know, like his job being an FBI agent and then her doing her killing and stuff like that. So there's definitely a good mix of, like, thriller things happening in this, but it's very much reading like a romance to me so far. Yeah, we'll have to see. Like, I don't know, I'm not hating it. I think it's really easy writing to get into, so I can see myself flying through this. I think I'm gonna put tabs on the side here to, like, tab off the different sections of this book so I can, like, see where exactly each book ends, but I think I'm gonna try to read book 1 and book 2 tonight. What's up? Good morning. I lost a nail last night. I don't want to talk about it. So last night I did read all the way up to book 3 in this collection. So I finished the first 2 books. I feel like these books are going to be hard to talk about because they're not very good, okay? Like, these first 2 books, they're not very good. They're not really well written. The characters are driving me nuts, but there's something about it that I just want to continue reading it, and I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like a soap opera where, like, you know it's kind of bad, but you just get kind of hooked. You know, you just get kind of hooked into the story. It's like watching a train wreck that you can't look away from. And I don't know, I do like the way that this author is ending each one of these books, because, like, book 1 ended with a bang. I was like, oh shit. You know, she ends the books with something that'll make you want to immediately continue reading into the next book, which is nice, you know, I like that. And then the second book, the same shit, you know, it ends with something that immediately makes you want to start reading the third book. So, like, I do like the way she's ending the books. However, I think so far, Lana is a pretty obnoxious protagonist, and Logan is pretty annoying too, like her love interest. I feel like they both get so passionately jealous over, like, the dumbest shit. And to be honest, I still don't really understand their chemistry in this book. I just don't think they have a lot of chemistry, if I'm being honest. Like, it still feels very insta-love to me. And their relationship, I feel like it's just moving very fast. I mean, I know I'm 2 books deep now, but at the same time, I still feel like they barely even know each other, because they do barely even know each other. I will say, though, the second book did feel a little bit more like a thriller to me and less like a romance than the first book did. But even still, you know, this is a little bit more romance heavy than I was anticipating. But also, the second book, I feel like, was an improvement over the first book, because there were some things going on in the second book that I found myself really caring about. If you know, you know, but the story just kind of takes a different, like, unexpected path a little bit in the second book there. I just kind of like the vibe of this, you know? Like, I know it's not well written. I know it's, like, really, the things that happen and like the dialogue is just really stupid sometimes, like Lana being like, oh, I'm gonna cut her, like when she gets jealous of how Logan's either talking about another girl or like he's had this history or this past with another woman, and the other woman kind of like gives her attitude, and Lana's just like, I'm gonna cut her. Like she literally says it like 5 times on the same page. She's like, yep, definitely gonna cut her. It's like, oh my god, we get it, Lana, you're just like such a bad bitch who just wants to like cut everyone and you're just so violent. So she's kind of annoying for sure in that sense, but at the same time, like I'm just really curious to see where this goes, you know, like I'm definitely gonna continue reading. I like the way that at the start of every book we get like her updated kill list with like a bunch of names crossed out, and I don't know, I mean, it makes me hopeful going forward because I've heard from all of my friends who have read this that from book 3 it starts to get a lot better. I don't know if that means like the quality of writing gets better or if that just means the story gets even more interesting. So it can only go up from here, right? Like that's what I'm hoping. But anyways, I have quite a bit going on today. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to read anything during the day because I'm gonna be going over to my parents' house and repainting the office so that when we move in, we can have like a really nice new freshly painted office. It's gonna be so nice. So I'm not gonna have any time to read today. Hello, how's it going? It's nighttime now. It's like 9 o'clock at night, and I am so fucking tired from today. I completely underestimated how difficult and challenging it is to completely paint a room. We were trying to paint it, you know, this kind of like bright peach color. Well, not like, you know, super peach. It's just we were painting the office this kind of off-white with like a hint of peach color in the paint, and it was going over this, you know, grayish green kind of color of paint. We didn't realize that we were probably going to need 2 gallons because we were going to need to do 2 coats of it. We did the entire first coat today and we did some like patchwork on it, but it's going to take so much more work than we were expecting it to be, and so we have to go back tomorrow to like finish up with the second coat because we only bought 1 gallon of paint. And so like, oh my god, I'm just like so tired because it took so much work and effort to like get that first coat on. Like I feel like I was like working out all day, you know, because like when you're painting like that all day, you're just like moving your arms on the wall and like lifting, and you know, it's a lot of arm work. So my arms are just absolutely dead, and like I don't know how I'm gonna do this again tomorrow. I'm just so tired, so I'm just laying in bed right now. I'm gonna try to read hopefully the entirety of the 3rd book, but honestly, like I don't know if that's gonna happen tonight. Okay, only on chapter 2, and we're getting Hadley's point of view, which is different, you know. So far we've only had Alana and Logan's point of view throughout this book series, so this is exciting because this is a character that I actually really like. Okay, hello, I am home from painting for a second day, but don't even sweat it because the second coat, it came out so good and it just looks so good, and I can't wait for you all to see it in my next monthly vlog. But last night I said I was gonna try to read the entirety of book 3. Like, no, I only read 4 chapters, so I'm on chapter 5 now. But, you know, I got home a little earlier than expected. You know, it's only 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I just threw in a load of laundry, and I think I'm just gonna try to read a lot of this afternoon and tonight and try to really make a dent in this. You'll have to excuse this little monster for making so much noise in the background all the time. Oh, thank you. This little guy has been, you know, alone in the apartment for a couple hours, so now he's just like extra needing attention, you know? That's just the way, it's just the way it is with Tank. I'm gonna jump back in. I got a frap from Starbucks, but it's almost gone now. It's a little bit later, but I just finished book 3. I will say that ending, like the end of book 3, was probably my least favorite ending of the book so far, just because I feel like that was a little anticlimactic of an ending. But I will say book 3 is my favorite out of the 3 that I've read so far, just because I feel like it's getting to the point where we're really starting to develop these characters, you know, they're really starting to like make connections, things are getting interesting, things are getting intense. I will say though that Hadley is my favorite character out of all of the characters in this book. I just think she's the most interesting, and I just feel like connected to her, and I just care about her a lot, and I really like the way that she's approaching, you know, different situations that are happening with this group of people. Still not the biggest fan of like Lana or Logan, but Lana has definitely grown a lot on me in this third book. Like, I'm enjoying her a lot more. I do think I would appreciate this book even more if this was a romance between Lana and Hadley. Like, can we make that happen? Like, I think I'm shipping them more than I ship Lana with Logan. Like, Logan just doesn't really do anything for me in this book. I feel like Logan's character, it's just the same shit over and over again. Like, his narration in his head, he's always just like, how can Lana be so perfect? Like, she's just so perfect. Like, I'm just obsessed with her. And like, reading from his perspective is just kind of annoying, if I'm being honest. Like, he's just kind of an annoying character to follow. And I do like following Lana's point of view a little bit better, even though most of her, you know, parts are still pretty cliche too. Like, in her head, she's like, I'm a monster and he's a hero, and how could anyone like him love someone like me? You know, pretty repetitive with her dialogue, but I like where Lana's story's going. There's this very good character arc that's starting to happen for her character that I really like. Also, there is like one kind of spoilery thing that I want to talk about because I thought it was really freaking cool. So I'll put a spoiler warning on the screen for the second that I'm going to be talking about this. But I just got to the part, you know, at the end of book 3 where they're going back to Delaney Grove, which is like this, you know, the town, the small town where all of these events occurred, where all of these men are from. And it was so cool because, you know, Jake and Lana, they were able to pull this off where like the entire water supply in the town turned red. And like, I don't even fully understand how they were able to do this, but these people in the town, they were seeing this message, you know, that kept popping up. I actually wrote it down in my notebook, but they had this message that was like, the water will run red just like your sins, the truth won't be painted over anymore. And it just kept appearing like in people's houses and shit, and I was like, that's so creepy. They were able to like turn all the water that was in like the local fountain, they were able to turn that water red. Like, all the sprinklers turned red. Like, any faucet that water would come out of was like red water. And I just thought that that was so cool because the whole town's just gonna go crazy, you know? Like, I just thought that was a really cool thing. And also, like, I don't know, I'm just loving the way like Hadley is kind of like supporting Lana's choices in a way, but like their relationship is just so cute, and it's kind of like bantery, you know, because she keeps like almost taking things too far, and then Hadley's like, I don't know if I can trust you. And I like the way that they have their banter. It's just written very well, and it's really like, I don't know, I just love it. I also loved the way, like, because I don't think Jake's character, like, he's not actually disabled, right? But they like made it seem as if he was, just to like throw them off his trail. Because like, there was a moment in time in this third book where Logan was like, oh, I have to go investigate this guy and like question him, and it was Jake. And then Lana was actually at his apartment when Logan showed up, and they were like, fuck, like, what are we gonna do? Like, that was such an intense scene, because then Lana had to go and like hide in the closet and like try to get out of there. But they made it seem as if Jake was like restrained to a wheelchair, and like that he was in the wheelchair, and then they looked around the house and he had all of these things that would make it appear as if he was disabled. I just thought that that was a really interesting moment in the plot, because they had this whole thing planned for like, if the police ever questioned him, they knew that they would easily like not suspect him, which I just thought was like really smart. Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of the way that that third book ended, just because I feel like it was the least suspenseful ending out of like the other two, but I'm very curious to see where this goes, because it did give you a little something, you know, like something's about to happen at the beginning of this fourth book. So yeah, I might read a little bit more tonight, but as of right now, like, I just need to get some food, you know, I need to get some dinner because I'm getting pretty hungry. It's about like 5:30. I'm just super invested at this point. Like, I'm invested in Lana's story arc. I need to see where it's going. I want to know what's gonna happen to this bitch. Got some Mexican food for dinner. It's a little bit later in the night. It is just after 10:30, but I wanted to let you know that I just barely started in on book 4, okay? I think I'm only still in the first chapter, and this book is a lot. I feel like at the start of book 4, this is where we're really getting the story of what happened to Lana, and like holy shit, I would heavily advise you to look up trigger warnings for, you know, this book in particular, but also just for this book series, because the things that I was reading, I was just like very disturbed. Like I was reading that chapter like right before I had dinner, and I just completely lost my appetite and kind of felt sick to my stomach. What happened to Lana is like so much worse than anything that I could have imagined it to be. And it was just really awful to read about, you know, like that was just not a fun time. This book is just, it's very heavy. So I will warn you, if you're planning to read this book or this series and you have, you know, a sensitivity to like certain triggers, I would strongly advise you to look those up, because wow, that was a lot. And to be honest, I'm kind of glad that I, you know, set it aside and had some dinner and just like took a break from it for a while, because that was like fucking intense, you know. But I don't know, I'm kind of torn over like how much of this I actually want to read tonight, just because I feel like when I read some like really fucked up shit like this right before bed, it really like affects my dreams, you know. I don't know if I'm the only one. Like I don't know why when it's like horror, I can like read it right before bed, like no issues or whatever. But it's something about like violence against women, like that kind of stuff, just really gets to me. Like it's really hard for me to read. And so that's why I'm like, I don't know, like God, I'm kind of tempted. I might read a little bit more and see if it lightens up a little bit. I think I'm only gonna read a little bit more tonight and then maybe like listen to something on audio. I actually just started listening to Delilah Green Doesn't Care on audio, which is like a cute female romance, you know, because I needed something like a little bit lighter after reading the beginning of that. And so I might just read a tiny bit more of this tonight and then listen to this one on audio. But yeah, wow, this book is a lot, but it's still really good. It's just, it's a lot, you know? Hi, good morning. It's the next morning. If you're wondering, last night I didn't read a lot. Can I just give a quick, you know, shout out to my friend Rachel real quick, because, you know, she makes these book sleeves and like this massive, like almost 700 page book like fits into these book sleeves with like little to no effort. Isn't that just like amazing? But anyways, yeah, last night I got up to page 416, so I only got 6 chapters into the 4th book, and like so far the 4th book is just fine. It was really only that first chapter that was really tough to read, you know. It was very tough to read that first chapter, but otherwise it's felt pretty the same like with the other books now. But I did stay up until like 3:30 in the morning last night. I was only reading until about like midnight, and then I did listen to a few more chapters of that romance book, Delilah Green Doesn't Care, and then I spent the rest of the night watching BTS music videos and their interviews, because like at this point in time nothing is making me happier. And like I'm not mad about it, you know, like the BTS thing, it's happening for me right now, and I don't know what it is. Like their music makes me happy, their personalities make me happy, like their interviews are just so funny, and it's just my favorite thing to do right before bed now is just search a bunch of their, you know, interviews and just watch them, and it just brings me joy. But anyways, I'm dressed up because I'm gonna go out in the world, and I'm gonna go to Trader Joe's because we are completely out of like the chicken chow mein, and that is just like unacceptable. Like that is my go-to dinner now, and so I'm gonna get some chicken chow mein and like a few things which we might have later tonight. I might even get an acai bowl because I do have a free acai bowl on my Vitality Rewards app, so like that's exciting. And then I don't know, I'm gonna try to finish this today, so I might do some reading sprints on Patreon today just so I can get this shit done, you know? Oh my gosh, Katie, guess what I'm reading? I haven't even told you yet.
Oh, wait, let me guess. Oh!
I'm on book 4. I'm doing like a whole vlog for it and everything. I was gonna like wait to surprise you, but then I was like, oh.
You're doing a vlog?
Yeah.
Oh! Sweet.
Yeah. I'm so excited. Olivia, this playlist slaps.
Isn't it like actually
I
unironic?
love it. Yeah, I'm like saving like every song.
Oh wait, I want to know. I want in.
Yeah. The playlist is called Female Serial Killers Always Have a Good Reason. Okay, hi, just wanted to film a quick update because I just finished book 4. I'm like, ooh, bitch, oh my god. Shit is hitting the fan. Things are happening right now that I've been waiting this whole time for it to happen, and it's wonderful. There are some things that happened during book 4. I was just like my jaw was hanging open in shock. I could not believe some of this shit that was happening in book 4. Like, book 4 is definitely my favorite so far. What the fuck? Dude, what the fuck? I want to talk about, like, spoilers and stuff, but I think I'm just gonna wait to talk about spoilers until the end, just because at this point, I'm just, like, trying to bust through the rest of this, because what the fuck? So yeah, I'm just gonna continue reading. I'm still doing sprints right now on my Patreon. I'm actually joined by so many of my friends. I have Katie, Olivia, Erin, and Kayla on my Patreon reading sprints right now, so like this is just a totally fun time. Like, it feels like having a sleepover with friends. We're all just reading together. It's so much fun. So I am gonna try to finish as much of this as I can, and if I can't finish them on sprints right now, then I'll probably just end up finishing the last little bit tonight. But like, it's just getting crazy. It's getting so good. What's up? It's a little bit later in the night, and during the reading sprints I got up to chapter 11 of book 5, and oh my gosh, dude, book 5 so far, like, shit is going down. Okay, shit is going down. This is what we came for. Love to see it. I'm just having so much fun with book 5. Yeah, I only have this little sliver left, so I'm planning on finishing it up tonight, even though it's already 11 o'clock. Like, I don't know where the night went. While I was on reading sprints today, which, by the way, reading sprints were so much fun. Like, reading with a group of friends like that is just, like, the best thing ever. Like, I just love doing it. And I always get so stoked whenever I kind of, like, spontaneously plan to do reading sprints, and then so many friends are able to join me. Like, how much fun is that? But Olivia sent this Spotify playlist to the group that's female serial killers always have a good reason. This freaking Spotify playlist slaps, okay? Like, it's so freaking good, and it fits the vibe of this book so well. So I've just been kind of like listening to this playlist in the background while I'm reading it, and it just adds to the vibes, you know? Like, it just makes the vibes even better. I am just rooting for her so hard towards the end of this book. I'm just like, fucking get it, bitch, like, let's go. And it's just so satisfying, you know, to see some of the things that are happening at this point in time in the book. Like, I'm just, it's just crazy, you know, it's crazy. But anyways, I'm gonna finish it up. Good morning. I finished it last night, and I have many thoughts. The first thing I will say is that if you're considering, you know, reading this book series, I would just let you know that I think books 1 and 2 are not that great. You know, like, they're just kind of average, not that great. I think this series is very poorly written, in my opinion. Like, okay, this is not the kind of profound writing that you might be used to in a lot of other thrillers. Like, this does feel very, like, you know, it could have been written on Wattpad, or like it could have been a written fan fiction about something. But sometimes I do just enjoy books like this, okay? Sometimes you just need some fun escapism. I don't mean to compare this to, like, Ice Planet Barbarians, but it's like, it's kind of like that in the sense that some of it is a little ridiculous. You have to suspend your disbelief a little bit, you know? You just gotta go in and know that you're gonna have a fun time. Yes, it's kind of ridiculous, and yes, it's kind of badly written, but you just read it for fun, you know? And this book was fun. Then by book 4 and 5, oh my gosh, so much shit goes down, and it was so good by the end. Like, the writing didn't improve necessarily, like, the writing quality stayed the same, but the character development was a lot stronger towards the end, and these characters grew on me so much throughout this series. I feel like what Katie said in her vlog too, by the time you get to book 4, you're like, is it actually getting better, or have I just been reading it so long that I'm, like, starting to convince myself that this is good? I am a huge fan of the way this book series ended. That epilogue was so good. Like, so good. It reminded me so much of another book, and then it also reminded me of like one of my favorite TV shows, and it was just so, like, so clever, so smart. Love the way it ended. I feel like Lana really grew on me as a character throughout the series, because I'm not even gonna lie, in the first 2 books I could barely tolerate her. It was so funny because last night after I finished this, I rewatched Mikay and Katie's vlogs, and then I also watched Kat over from Paperback Dreams. She just recently did a whole live show kind of talking about this, and so I watched that live show too, and I totally agree with what Kat was saying when she was saying, like, I actually don't like Lana when she's with Logan. Like, she just turns into this like bubbly, like soft, almost like this fake version of herself because she's trying to like be a good girl for him or something. Like, I don't even know. But like, I guess that's why I thought she was so annoying in the first 2 books, is because her inner narration is being like, oh, I'm so dark, I'm just like such a monster, like I'm gonna paint the town red. But then when she's with Logan, she's just like, oh my god, I love you, you're perfect. And it's just like so annoying. And the fact that you know, Lana and Logan have absolutely no chemistry, and that never really changed for me. Like, I feel like they just had such insta-love from the beginning, and then they never really developed much of a romance at all. Like, I felt like every time they were together, it was so brief, because then he would get called in to go to work or whatever, and she had to do her own shit, and they would just be texting a lot. But like, I feel like they never really formed a connection. Like, I don't know, I still feel that way even now, but like, I didn't read this book for the romance, okay? Like, I could give 2 shits. Like, I could care less about the romance that was happening between Lana and Logan. Like, who the fuck cares? I was here for this revenge story, okay? I was here to see Lana get revenge on everybody who's wronged her. It was beautiful. It was stunning. It was good to see it. I did want to jump into just a few spoilers at the end here, because there are some things that happened towards the end of this book series that like, I just need to talk about. Like, I need to get this shit off my chest, because what the fuck. Spoilers will be on the screen for the entire time that I'm going to be talking about spoilers, because this is going to spoil books 4 and 5, like the end. One of the things that I wanted to talk about was one of my favorite scenes in this entire series is when Lana, it's like, I think it's towards the end of book 4, but it's when she puts on the like Michael Myers mask and she starts freaking killing this guy with a fucking power saw or whatever in front of all these people at the like haunted house thing or whatever, and all these people think that it's like fake, and she's just out here sawing a man, like his intestines are like fucking coming out of his body, and he's like screaming, and everybody's just thinking like these are some really good effects, and like, oh my god, this looks so real but it's so fake. Oh my god, that shit was so entertaining. I was like reading that and I was like, what the fuck am I reading right now? Like, oh my god, that was just crazy. And I also can I just say, I love and adore the reason behind why she chose the name Lana Myers. She mentions that her dad loved the name Lana and that he wanted to name her Lana, but her mom wanted to name her Victoria, and he said Lana represents being afloat and calm as still waters. And I just like thought that was so cute. Like, I love that she renamed herself after something that her dad really loved, and also that she chose the last name Myers because her and her dad used to watch Halloween a lot, and they used to watch a lot of like horror movies when she was growing up, and Michael Myers was always her dad's favorite. And so I love that she like chose the name Michael, or like that she chose the last name Myers. Like, I just thought that was so cute. Like, I don't know, I love that. I feel like, to me, Hadley and Jake getting together was like so random and kind of unexpected, but I also am not mad about it because I do think they're pretty cute together. But at the same time, I still was hoping, you know, I was hoping with my whole heart that by the end, Hadley and Lana would get together, because what the heck? I feel like this book was really like baiting us with the relationship brewing with them. Like, for so long, like after Hadley found out about her, I was like, oh my god, they have this like secret connection, and they were like building trust with each other, and it was gonna be this beautiful ass lesbian romance, and then it never happened, and I'm sad about it, because Lana with Logan is like, no, like, I don't understand it at all. Like, he's so basic and like has no personality. But her and Hadley, I feel like that was such a missed opportunity because they would have been so fucking cute together. But yeah, reading about the things that happened to Lana, like when you find out at the beginning of book 4 everything that happened to her, I literally could barely even stomach that shit. Like, that was so awful. Like, I don't even want to repeat anything that actually happened to her because it literally like makes my stomach feel so upset even thinking about it. Oh my gosh, dude. And the way that my jaw like hit the fucking floor when we find out who the actual killer was, you know, because this whole thing is that Lana's dad was wrongly accused of all these like murders of these young girls, right? And that's the whole reason why Lana and her brother were getting punished in the first place, is because they were the children of this man who was like a sinner, but he was wrongly accused. He never could have done it, you know, like everybody everybody knows he couldn't have done it because he wasn't even, the killer was like right-handed or something and her dad was left-handed. Like there was no way it could have been him, but literally the town and everyone made it seem like it was him, and it was just so awful. But the way when we actually found out who the killer was, and it was his own lawyer, like his best friend, like Jake's dad. Oh my god, like that had to be the biggest plot twist of this whole series for me, because I was like, bitch, no, like what the fuck, like that is so awful, that is so cruel. How could he do that to like his best friend? Like that is just terrible. Like that is terrible. And like poor Jake to have to deal with knowing that his dad was the one that was actually responsible and that he caused all of this harm to like Lana and her family. Like what the fuck. I just thought like book 5 in general was just so epic. I mean, I know you have to like suspend your, you know, disbelief a little bit with like all the crazy shenanigans that happen in book 5, but it was just so clever. You know, I love how they really just took this whole town by storm. You know, like they weren't letting anybody in the town escape free, because everybody in the town played a part in it, and that was just so wild. Because they literally had, you know, the fountain was like running red and like everything was turning red. They had all these secret messages popping up on the walls. Like I just loved it so much. And the way they like would put over the speakers in the town, like tonight we're gonna purge and like you have to leave the town and like all this shit. Like it was just so creepy and like so well done. I love how all the people in the town didn't know that you know, she had put all these cameras in their homes, so like they were being watched and they would like pop up on their own TV screens. Like oh my god, it was just so creepy. Like by the end of this book I was just like, Lana is such a bad bitch, like good for her, like fucking get it done. And even though it did kind of pull that, you know, kind of cheesy cliche thing where you think Lana dies and then, you know, months later her and Logan are reunited, like I could have done a little without that. But also, oh my god, that scene when Lana was like about to die and she like called Jake and she called Logan to say goodbye, and then she thought she saw her brother. Bitch, I was crying. I'm not even gonna fucking lie, I was fucking crying. For a second though, I thought it was because she had died, and then I thought it was like her seeing her brother again, like in the afterlife or something, and I was like, I was losing it, because it was just like such a beautiful moment. But anyways, I freaking love, like I love how this book ends. I know it's kind of cheesy to think, you know, Logan just like quits his FBI job, but like also it makes sense, right? Because his character, he's always cared about, you know, finding the truth and getting the right people justice. The fact that they weren't even gonna reopen the case just because he was dead, like that makes sense to me, that he would be like, you know what, fuck this, like you guys aren't even doing the right thing. So like it makes sense for him to quit his job. And I know it's kind of, you know, cliche that they like move to Greece or like, you know, somewhere with a beach and they just kind of like live their happy lives. But I love that this book ends with, you know, it's their anniversary and he like finds her this man to kill. It reminded me so much of like My Lovely Wife at the end there, and also like Santa Clarita Diet, because it's like they find men who are bad, because like this man at the end was like another, you know, rapist or murderer, like he was another guy of that nature, and he just like found this guy and then brought him to her to kill at the end, and she was like, thank you honey, happy anniversary. Oh my god, I love that. Like I love that once a year she gets to like kill someone who's like doing something bad in the world. It's very like Dexter vibes, you know? But like, oh god, I just, you know, by the end I just really enjoyed this. As far as like my ratings go for each individual book, like it's kind of hard to say at the moment, like I'm gonna have to think about it more, but I do think the first 2 books for me are probably like 2 stars. I didn't really care too much for the first 2 books. I just thought that they were very romance heavy and just kind of bland, like very, you know, I just couldn't connect. But then by book 3 it definitely starts to get better, so I think book 3 is maybe like a 3 star, maybe like a 3.5 for me. Then books 4 and 5 are definitely 4 stars, and that 5th book might be like a 4.5 for me. I don't know, I have to think about it more, but I really enjoyed myself reading this. I don't regret reading this at all. I think this is such a fun, like escapism kind of crazy thriller story, and it actually does have some good twists at the end that I did not see coming, which I super appreciate, you know? And even though I do think some of these characters are like a little cliche at times, you know, like the romance is a little cheesy, that's not really what we're here for, you know? Like we're just here to see Lana get revenge against all these fucking assholes, and like, oh my god dude, fuck Kyle. Oh god, it was a fun time. I would recommend this. If you're in the mood for something that's kind of fun but also very dark and twisty, I would recommend this, you know? It's a good time. So yeah, that is a wrap on the Mindfuck vlog series video. Let me know if you've read this book. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know what your thoughts are on each one of the books, or let me know if you plan to check out this book series now. And thank you so much for watching as always, and I will see you very soon with another video. Bye.
dream